It's almost that time of year. It is transfer portal time in Nebraska. The Huskers are expected to go after over 20 prospects on offense, defense, and special teams. And we know that in order to get high quality players, relationships matter, playing time matters. But more than anything, in modern day college football, you will live or die depending on your NIL. So let's talk about it. What is the honest truth around Nebraska's name, image, and likeness? How much money do we truly have? Is it top 10? Is it even top 20? Can we compete against these top schools? What does it mean not only for our transfer portal class, but our recruiting classes going forward and everything else you need to know? So really quick, this is an inside update talking about our NIL specifically. Hit that like button if you're fired up. And also, if you're a diehard Nebraska fan and you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? For daily content talking Huskers, it's no brainer. Take 2 seconds. Join the family. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. But without further ado, we have a lot to talk about. Let's just rip the band-aid off. Let's answer the question before we talk about the transfer portal implications, the changes coming very soon as well. But as it stands right now, how good is Nebraska's NIL and how does it stack up compared to not only the rest of the Big Ten, but the rest of America? Because I feel like there's a lot of misconceptions. There's people who are way too high on our NIL, they think it's top 10, they think it's one of the best in America, and there's also people who are way too low and think we can't compete against anybody. We're in the middle. Nebraska, as it stands, we have a top 20 NIL collective in America. Okay, it is good, but it is not great. Nebraska, as it stands right now, we'll talk about the changes. As it stands right now, we cannot compete from an NIL money standpoint against teams like Ohio State, Texas, Texas Tech, Georgia, Oregon, USC. Not yet. And Matt recently talked about it. He said that right now our payroll is $20 million. He didn't say that specifically, but that's some inside info, right? Our payroll is around $20 million, if not $25 million. And again, I know that sounds like a lot of money, but that's nothing when you look at some of these top squads, when you look at some of the teams that are going to be in the college football playoff this year. So Matt Rhule talked about it, not only when he got extended, but also on the radio multiple times and multiple interviews. He said, while we feel good about our NIL, I would like to get up to the $40 million range because that's how you compete for national championships. That's how you compete for Big Ten titles. We're in a good spot right now, but we're not there just yet. And that's how you can be consistent. So we have a good, not great NIL. And you've seen some strategy because of that. We know how important the transfer portal is. So if you right now look at Nebraska's recruiting class, and specifically in the class 26, it's not very good. Not only does it not have any quantity, it really rarely has quality. There's a lot of players who are low 3 stars, mid 3 stars. And there's some underrated prospects here and there, but mostly Nebraska, they went after some big fish in the class 26 and they missed out on them. Why? Because they weren't offering that much NIL. I'll throw out some examples. Dowden Sony, we wanted him very badly. He ended up going to Georgia. Why? Because of NIL. Okay. CJ Brana, flipped from Nebraska to Florida. Why? Because they offered more in NIL. You go down the list. Brian Bonner, we missed out on him. Why? Because we weren't willing to spend that much money in NIL. We took, Jamal Rule, who we thought was cheaper. So it's not that Nebraska didn't have the money to pay those guys. It was a strategic move. We are saving and conserving our money for the portal because we understand that while high school recruiting is very important and we need to have good high school recruiting classes, that you can still get some decent commits without money. In the portal, if you don't have money, you aren't going to get anybody. Because if you're someone who's entering the portal at 20, 21, 22 years old, you want money more than anything else. You don't care about the playing time. You don't care about the relationships. It's irrelevant. Money or you're not going there. So Nebraska, the reason why our recruiting class is suffering, it's not because we don't have the money, it's because we're being wise with it. We're conserving it. Okay, there's a reason why this university has a surplus with money. We're actually making revenue in the athletic department while pretty much every single other program in the Big Ten around the country, they're in a deficit because we're being smart. And we have longevity, unlike a lot of these other programs who are going to be bankrupt in a couple of years. Now, here's the silver lining. If Nebraska's in a bidding war versus Oregon, as it stands right now, we will lose every day. Every day, every time. Same deal with Ohio State. Same deal with Texas. And that happens a lot in the portal. Okay, it happened last year when we wanted Isaiah World, who was a big-time tackle, and he went to Oregon because they outbid us. And we weren't willing to pay him more than that. But here's the silver lining. Once again, a huge boost is coming. So as it stands, Nebraska is a top 20 NIL. I'd probably say we're 19th in America. We're going to get up to top 10 very soon. And that's thanks to Matt Rhule. That's thanks to his extension. Everybody was freaking out when we extended Matt Rhule. They said, he doesn't deserve it. We haven't won enough here. This, that, and third. And you might be right that on paper, Matt Rhule maybe didn't deserve an extension. But the silver lining is not only did he get himself more money, he got this team more money in the fine lines, in the fine print. Okay, so with his extension, Matt Rhule also leveraged his team to say, you know what, if you want me to stay here and not go to Penn State, not go somewhere else, you got to give me more money to spend. So expect about $5 to $10 million more in this program going into next season. I expect our NIL to get up to about $30 million, if not $35 million within these next 1 to 2 years. And you're going to see that in the trends report because Nebraska is going to be incredibly aggressive in the portal. Okay. Also, the hype around the program can't be overstated, in my opinion. There's a lot of hype right now. Okay, we aren't perfect. We're not going to make the playoffs, but a lot of the boosters are starting to believe in Matt Rhule. We're 7-3, our best record in a decade, right? The results speak for themselves. And a lot of times you could argue the reason why we're not blowing out these teams is because we don't have the players just yet. So the boosters, when they don't really trust the players, but they trust the coaches, that's when they start to see the money flowing because they're like, okay, we got our guy. Let's go get him the pieces. Let's go get him the players. Let's go get him the studs. National relevance is helping us out too. ESPN's talking about us on the daily. All of which is going to impact our NIL. So while Nebraska's NIL is good, not great right now, it's going to get up to the great levels. Maybe not this winter, but going into next winter, going into the recruiting class of 2027. And we will have a roster worth around $30 to $35 million, and that's going to be good enough to compete for a Big Ten title, if not a national championship. Now, what does that mean, though? What does that mean? Number one, again, you're going to get some top-tier players in the portal. Okay, offensive line, defensive line, quarterback, whatever you need. You're going to get those players because, again, they care about money more than anything else. They just do. Dane Key would not be here if it weren't for the money. Elijah Pritchett would not be here if it weren't for the money. Sear Wright would not be here if it weren't for the money. Go down the line. So you're going to get some stud players in the portal thanks to this. You're going to get a great 2027 recruiting class. I told you guys, while the portal is important, it's also important to have a good recruiting class. And we're going to land a top 10 one because we're starting to put money back in the high school ranks now that we're getting this boost thanks to Matt Rhule. We're going to retain some of our top talent, which honestly, I think that's underrated. Everybody talks about getting players, but we need to keep players. When you get somebody here, you need to keep them here. So you got Jacory Barney. He has a bright future. You got to keep him here. Along with, a Jamarion Parker, Cortez Mills, a Jeremiah Jones, a Cade Petchock. Go down the list. A lot of these talented freshmen, sophomores, they're going to be offered by other schools. You have to be willing to be aggressive and to keep them here. And also with our upgrade NIL, thanks to Matt Rhule's extension, thanks to all the national relevance, thanks to the boosters being excited about the program once again, we're going to see more additions to the facilities, to the field, to the stadium. I mean, we're going to grass next year for crying out loud. That could not happen if we didn't have all this money thrown at the program. So that's the silver lining. And that's thanks to us beating UCLA. That's thanks to even TJ Lateef. Because, guess what? Matt Rhule might say, hey, we have the stud quarterback. We don't know if he's going to start here next year, but if you hand us like $1 million, he'll be here first year and he'll be our guy after Dylan. Or we'll just hand you $1 million, or you can pay even more. You can pay him $2 million and we'll have a quarterback battle. And he could be our starter even sooner than that. So there's a lot of leverage going on. But the boosters are excited, and that's why the NIL is going to improve. Also, I want to make this very clear. There's always going to be comments when we talk about NIL, and people say, well, if these prospects really love Nebraska, if these recruits love Nebraska, if these portal players really love Nebraska, they wouldn't care about the NIL. I only want players who want to be here and don't care about the price tag. That is a terrible mindset to have. Because I'll tell you right now, in modern day college football, every single player cares about money. Dylan Raiola would not be a Nebraska Cornhusker if it weren't for us paying him $2 million. Neither would Danke. Neither would your favorite player. They wouldn't be here. They just wouldn't. So get that out of your head. In order to be competitive, not only to be competitive, in order to survive in college football, you need NIL. I mean, look at some of the teams in the Big 12. Look at Iowa State. Okay, Iowa State's doing about as good as you can with no NIL. And they're barely a top 25 team in America. Oklahoma State is in a very similar position. They have a lack of talent, lack of NIL, and they're crumbling. And they're never going to be good. Unless they somehow find money, a genie in a bottle. So these programs nationally are drowning because they don't have any cash, they don't have any money, they don't have boosters, they don't have national relevance. It's imperative that Nebraska brings that NIL back up. And it's imperative that when we get to the transfer portal season and we're going after some great three technique, who can get to the quarterback, who can stop the run, who's a future NFL guy, it's imperative that we say, you know what, we need this guy more than anything. And we're willing to offer, in the 7 figures. Okay, because if you don't, you're not going to land it. Same deal with a tackle, same deal with a receiver, same deal with any prospect you want. It comes down to money. And if Nebraska really wants to be competitive next year, if Nebraska really wants to have this breakout year, like literally, the goal next year is to make the playoffs. We have a tough schedule. It's going to require a lot to do that. The only way you can make the playoffs next year with our hard schedule, go all in the portal. And I'm talking be aggressive when it comes to money. Do whatever it takes. because I wish I could sit here and I tell you that the other factors matter, like, you know, the location, like the connections, and like this, that, and the third. Like, they have very slight impacts, but more than anything, it's that money. It's the money that matters. So Nebraska, we have to be aggressive when it comes to our NIL, but trust me on this, it's getting better. It's getting better and better by the year. Thanks to Matt Roll, thanks to Troy Dana, thanks to a lot of these coaches as well. And we have put in a real commitment to not only being very well coached, but we put in a commitment to being the most talented team in America through the portal, through recruiting, and through retaining our talent. So, all right, guys, let me know your thoughts down below about everything, your thoughts around NIL. Let me know what you're thinking. Hey, if you made this fun video, you know what to do. Hit the like button and subscribe. As always, folks, it's going to be great. Go, Matt Roll, and I'll see you in the next one.